Hello everyone, welcome back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well, and today what we're doing is we're looking at the third tall, the missing piece. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is when you look at Quenton, you would say that there's a couple of areas you would say with all these outs that Quenton may be looking at going the next level with obviously some of their best 22 out. And I thought that the first one in probably will do a series of these as the players get ready. I think the big one is the third tall, and it is a very important role in the AFL. And currently at the moment, you would say Lockie Plowman is playing that role. So what I thought we'd do is we'd go through and literally just have a look at what is going on. The first person we're going to talk about is none other than Lockie Plowman, and currently he is the guy that's occupying our space. Now, this guy here gets a lot of love, gets a lot of hate from us all, doesn't he? He's probably the perfect player for Quenton Football Club in the terms of when it's going good, people like him. When it's going bad, they don't. However, we are going to look at someone who plays a very similar role to him in the AFL and compare and understand what the role is. So what we've got here is these are really the main stats that if you correlate the different roles, and this is why it's really hard when you do comparisons and you see them, because people don't take into account the role. But genuinely, this is the role that predominantly the third tall in that trio looks to do. Now, 193, he is classified as the third tall, and we know what Lockie Plowman does. He's more of a lockdown player. And you look, though, 85.7% efficiency, 2.5 spoils, 6 defensive pressure acts, very important, because he genuinely plays on that medium-sized player, that smaller player. 5.4 intercept possessions. This is like really an improvement of his game, and that is a product and a byproduct of what Quenton are doing really in their season. 2 tackles a game, 3.8 marks, 1.5 intercept marks, 1.6 rebounds, and I would want to expect to see that be a little bit higher. For 54.2% win percentage one-on-one and 4.21 percenters. Now, what Plowman is what Plowman is. I think sometimes people judge him. For me, I think he's a solid role player and a very important role. I also would want to caveat that and think that at the moment he is a stopgap. Is he the missing piece? I don't think so. Now, teams that genuinely play a third that is more of a lockdown role genuinely play him on the taller players. And there is a great example here that I wanted just to show you. That is Mr. Dane Rampy. And as you can see, to Lockie Plowman's stats, very, very similar. There's not a huge astronomical difference. Very similar efficiency as you would expect. However, what I want you to notice is the one-on-one win percentages. What they do genuinely, the way Sydney plays, their intercepts come from their taller positions, and it allows Dane Rampy to float from that position and not so much be an intercept player, as you can see there, less than 1 intercept marks, be a lockdown on the tall and free it up. So what this would look like for Quenton is a guy with high intercept numbers, someone like, say, Libbojrjr, Plowman would go to the tall. And that is a product because Dane Rampy has spent his entire career as a key or as that third. And at the moment they play the McCartins with him and they rotate them 3. But genuinely this season has played a lot more from that pocket position and going there. And that is maybe something for Quenton. But then again, at the moment, Quenton are dining out predominantly on their ability to get these intercepts from their smaller players. You look at Sard, you look at Doc, they've got high intercept possession numbers with no Libbojrjr. But genuinely a sustainable method would be one of them keys have it or your third does. And Sydney are in a beautiful position that they can move Paddy McCartin or Tom McCartin off at all and have an aerial interceptor that way, linking up with their very talented players like Blakey, good ball user, again, who is again in that kind of third tall mode down the back, but playing a little bit more halfback, a little bit more aggressive, which would be a total change of Quenton. But you've got to remember, and I want you to think about this, what Plowman's role isn't to take that. He's taking a small, which allows Quenton to free up a Doc, a Sard, or a Newman in that case to help in it. But for me, it's not a sustainable role because genuinely the top sides genuinely have more talented smalls to work off their tall players. So this here is a very good system, but Rampy has been found out, as have Sydney themselves, coming up against talented smalls, because of this methodology that they use. This is the one that we've all come to see, and that is Mitch McGovern. Now, for me, this guy here is very understated in what he brings to the Carlton Football Club. And look at these numbers here. 85.2 efficiency, 3 spoils, 4.5 defensive pressure acts, 5.5 intercept posses, under a tackle a game. Now, I want you to think about his role there and what else Carlton bring. 5 marks, 3 intercept marks, 5 rebound 50s where you want it coming out, 83.3 win percentage and 3.5 1%ers. Now, it's no surprise that Carlton averaged over 32 points on their ability to intercept and create turnover in the defensive half. The highest 2-point games, consecutive games this happened. Also, Carlton, you did find here as well, was his ability to be inact in the score launch, averaging 14 points himself from where he was and being involved in. He also had an uncanny knack of doing what Carlton do, and they set up that defensive wall down the wing and someone comes on there. You see Wheater often playing at centre half back. You see Lewis Young on the wing, and then TDK kind of floats between them, and that's how Carlton really helped transition. You actually found that TDK, that Lewis Young would have stayed at fullback and McGovern would have worked with TDK down that wing and then peeling off, and he peeled between them two sectors, and it allowed Wheater to work in tandem with Lewis Young and him peel off that, and it made Carlton very deadly, particularly that fourth against Richmond and also that first half against the the Doggies. You saw how successful this is. Now, what I want you to do is just keep them numbers in mind and think of who is probably the best player in the league at doing this. Now, this guy has spent a lot of time at half back flank as well, resting, which is why he's getting a lot of his numbers. But genuinely, this guy plays over 70% of the time where McGovern was. 85. Hey, you guys and girls, make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you do want to as well, you can go a step further and you can become a member of the Pommy and Oz crew. Link is in the description to do that. Just click it, or if you are already subscribed, it's going to say join. If you are on Android, if you are on iOS, though, click that. Wonderful little community. We do things like sponsor Domaku, Shandor, big member of the community as well, Pommy and Oz. We like to give back here. It's a nice little fun community, and it helps us do wonderful things like the content we produce for you. Thank you so much for your support. Remember, 48% of you haven't subscribed to the channel. Let's do that. Let's smash that 3K and really, really go into 2023 with a huge, huge subscribership. Can't thank you enough. Enjoy the rest of the video. Was 85.4 disposal efficiency, 4.2 spoils, 6 pressure acts, 9.2 intercept posses, 2 tackles, 8.1 marks, a little bit more. They really do play that. Kolodjasny and Co really go down the back there and really try and lock it up. They're very static key defenders. Bit different from Carlton, so obviously they're going to be higher. 3 intercept marks, 6.5 rebound 50s, 81% win rate, 4.7 1%ers. And as you can see, very similar output, apart from 2 which you can easily explain away by that. Now, I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that this gentleman here will be a walk-up start when he's fit. And I think Voss will be counting all of his chickens and all of his eggs and praying and doing all the spells and anything he can think of to try and get this guy fit and healthy. I think that this is probably the key ingredient for Carlton's charge. And it's why when you look at a great example would be last week. Carlton do go forward and attack. However, when it doesn't quite work, they get hit on the rebound. Go back and watch the fourth. Go back and watch the second half of the Richmond game and see why that works so well for Carlton. Because this guy and Wheater could tandemise. Carlton could find ways in them first 2 rounds of really creating a real solid wall. You saw Oscar McDonald was pivotal at times because he took one of the guys away and it allowed these two to work off at all when PeterV was doing the defensive wing defence in transition, and it allowed McGovern to float between them 2 sectors and was a real big pain in the ass, particularly against Richmond and against the Doggies. And if you watch how Geelong play, very similar. He peels off. And for me, this guy's ball use, he's a metronome. Carlton down the back with Plowman, with Lewis Young are very static with their ball movement. And unless it's going to Dock and Sard and you stop them runs, it becomes very, very slow from the tall positions. One of the strengths of Stewart and him are the fact that they're decent users themselves. They can take the game on. They're happy to play the 1-2. McGovern did that a lot. Play that 1-2. It's a very key ingredient and something that I want Counton fans to bear in mind for the back half of the season, that if this guy can play from now till the end of the year, you're going to be well excited. I would pencil him in for the Geelong game straight away. I think this guy will be someone that comes straight in. Now, whether Counton in the interim from that do play Kemp, give him this game, play him as the third because he's got very similar skill sets, that'll be interesting. But there will be a time now that Counton are looking to do that. And you saw it this week against St Kilda. Plowman's limit in his game. He's very slow, very hard to decide, not very quick thinking. And in that position, Counton very are fortunate they haven't changed their transition game. They've just stuck with it. McGovern adds that layer, and that is what they're building towards. So in my opinion, he is the missing jigsaw piece. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you excited about seeing McGovern back? Do you think that that is probably what is going to happen? Mitch McGovern comes in from Plowman, and the defensive stats that are very impressive of Dock, Newman and Sard. There's a reason Counton play 3 marauding halfbacks in that side. Do they then take up them small positions? One of them plays a bit more defensively. Or do you think they'll stick with the Plowman combo? I don't think they will, but let me know what you do. Can't wait to see you all. We'll see you the review tomorrow, the preview tomorrow. Pom out.